Last time I showed how to make ESP boxes and that was already sick, but today we're making Aimbot. The camera locks on its own, aim adjusts itself, zero effort. This isn't just visuals, this is full auto aim, running natively on iPhone. In my game, what you're seeing is real time, no external tools, no tricks, and yeah, I coded all of this myself. Let me show you exactly how it works. Let's go. Alright, quick recap of what we've got so far. Here's the project folder. You can see everything we set up last time. We've got the tweak itself, the drawing code for ESP, the headers, the vector3 file, all that's in place, everything's already working. ESP boxes are drawing in game solid and smooth. Now we're building on top of that. Time to add aim logic. Before we start coding, let's break down how this aimbot actually works. We already know how to get enemy positions in 3D space. We use that for ESP. If you don't know, watch my video about ESP. But this time, we're not just drawing boxes. We're locking on. Aiming is just math. We've got two positions, the player and the enemy. Subtract one from the other. And boom, that's your direction vector. That's where we want to aim. In Unity, there's a built-in function called LookAt. You give it a target, and it rotates your object to face it. In the code, you'll see LookAt injected. That's the internal version Unity uses behind the scenes, but we don't want to aim at just anyone. So, FOV check, we define a circular field of view around the center of the screen. Then we calculate the distance from the enemy screen position to the center. If it's inside the circle, that's our target. Once we've got a target, we save it as aim target. On the next frame, we rotate the player toward it. Now here's the tricky part. The character has two things, the body and the camera. First, we rotate the body using LookAt. That gives us horizontal movement, the yaw. Then we calculate the vertical angle, the pitch, using Atom2, its basic trig. Then we convert that angle to a quaternion because Unity doesn't work with raw angles, only with rotation objects. That's where from Euler the injected comes in. We pass the pitch in, get the rotation out, and set it using set the local rotation injected. The result, we scan all enemies, check which one is closest to the center, and smoothly aim at them, just like a player would. It looks natural, but it's all code underneath. Quick heads up, from here on it's a code heavy breakdown pointers, offsets, and the math that drives the aim. If you're here just to see it work, jump to the demo at the end. Chapters, see timestamps in the description. If you want the how and why, stick with me and I'll map the theory to the exact lines and make the aimbot lock on. Alright, here's a straight walk through of the aimbot code as it actually runs purely about acquisition and rotation, mapped from the theory to the exact places where it lives in the implementation, no ESP. We start by wiring function pointers, result from the Unity framework image, using the dild slide, so that calls like get transform, and get position. Let us pull world space data from Unity objects. Get the main returns the active camera we'll use for projection. World to screen point converts a 3D world coordinate into a 2D screen coordinate with a depth value, and the trio LookAt injected from Euler at injected. And set local rotation, injected, give us controlled access to transform orientation and camera local rotation. Constants like rad to deg and deg to radians handle unique conversion for pitch map. And FOV radius defines the on-screen gating circle in pixels that decides whether a candidate is close enough to the retic lel to be eligible. The persistent state is intentionally small. Player instance caches the local player pointer, so we don't refine it repeatedly. Aim target holds the current world space lock point. Has target is a per frame handshake flag between acquisition and actuation. And world up is a fixed phi0. 1-0 vector we pass into LookAt to keep horizontal rotation stable without introducing roll at steep angles. Initialization happens in the constructor after a short delay to ensure the UI window exists. Once we have the key window, we can read its width and height to compute the center used by the FOV gauge. We scan loaded images until we hit Unity framework, read its swim other slide into base, and then assign all the function pointers by base plus known offsets. With pointer set, we install two hooks by a hook function. One attaches our hookabot to each enemy's update, so we can consider them as targets. And one attaches hook player to the local player's update, so we can actually rotate the model and the camera inside hookwood. We immediately guard against nulls to avoid crashing. No bot, no camera, no transform means no work. Then we fetch the bot's world position from its transform via get position. Run that through world to screen point can. Poses to obtain projected screen coordinates and the depth. Depth is crucial because a negative for 0z indicates a point behind the camera, and pointing towards such a position would cause erratic yaw and pitch flips. So we exit early when CR. Z equals 0. With a valid screen point, we convert to UE kit space by compensating for the device scale, E-screen main screen scale, and flipping Y as necessary. So the origin we use is consistent across our math. Then we compute the center of the main window. Subtract to form a delta vector from the center to the target screen point and take the Euclidean norm to get the distance to the reticle. That distance is the only thing the FOV gate cares about. If it's less than FOV radius and we already have a live player instance, we accept the candidate, we copy the bot's world position into aim target, bias aim target. I downward a bit, the 0.5 tweak, so the lock is closer to center mass instead of the model pivot or the top of the head, which often lives above the visual mesh. Set has target to true and leave. Note that HookieBot never writes rotations, it only decides who and communicates that through aim target and has target, which keeps the acquisition and actuation parts decoupled and deterministic. In Hookie Player, we first update player instance to the current player pointer to keep it warm. Then we call the original update or required player, so we don't interfere with the game's controller sequencing. And only after that do we check has target. If it's false, we're done. For this frame, if it's true, we proceed to compute and apply rotation. We fetch the player's transform with get a transform player, and we read the viewpoint pointer from a known offset in the player object. Here 0 times 20, which is the camera or eye level transform the game uses for vertical aim. Those offset are game specific and come from IL2 CPP layout work. So in practice, you'd verify them anytime the build changes with player tar and viewpoint validated. We read player post from player tar. Build a direction vector, dir equals aim target. For A post, no normalization required for angles, and split the rotation into pitch and yaw. For pitch, we compute horizontal magnitude, h equals c or t drx plus drzd, past dr. And h into atten to f to get a vertical angle in radians that behaves correctly across quadrants. And near zero denominators, convert to degrees via rad to dec, and negate because in most Unity rigs, positive pitch is defined down relative to the camera's local axis. To avoid extreme vertical snaps that break animation or collide with internal constraints, we clamp target pitch to a safe window, here for 60 to plus 60 degrees. Then we write target pitch to a gameplay field at offset 0 times 2c in the player. Again, structure specific, which many first-person controllers consume as their canonical vertical angle, and we also construct a quaternion from Euler angles that contains only that pitch, Euler ab. X equals target pitch asterisk dec 2 radians, y equals z equals 0, feed it into from Euler, inject it to obtain a proper rotation object, and push it into set the local rotation injected viewpoint. Before the camera actually tilts up or down, that completes the vertical half in a way that plays nicely with the animation graph. For yaw, we keep the vertical out of the equation by flattening the target's y to the player's y, forming yaw target equals y, aim target x, player pose y, aim target. And then calling LookAt injected player to yaw target forward up to let Unity rotate the body transform horizontally toward the target while keeping roll stable through the explicit up vector. Separating yaw on the body and pitch on the viewpoint is a key to keeping locomotion. And camera behavior feeling native to the rig. If you try to apply both angles to the same transform, you fight the animator and risk introducing unwanted roll or shoulder locking. The order of operations in the frame matters. Original player logic first, so movement and constraints are up to date. Then look at for yaw. Then pitch adjustments via the field right and the camera quaternion. And finally, we clear has target equals false, so the next frame must reconfirm the target through HookieBot rather than carrying stale data. This pattern prevents chattering when a candidate briefly leaves the FOV circle or moves behind the camera between frames. Every pointer dereference is guarded. Player, R viewpoint, cam, TR, every angle is bounded, and every projection is filtered by depth, so we never chase invalid geometry. The DIL-based offset resolution in init ensures our function pointers are correct in the presence of ASLR. We walk images, match Unity framework by name. Read the vmother slide and compute function addresses as base plus offset, which keeps calls stable across launches. The FOV gate is intentionally defined in pixels rather than degrees because the decision is made after projection and because pixel radius correlates better with how the magnet feels on the phone at arm's length tuning. It is as simple as widen, ing or narrowing the circle. If you want stickiness, you can hold the last target until it leaves a larger radius, hysteresis, or keep it for a few frames. Grace period, so brief occlusions don't break the lock. If you want smoother motion, you can damp both angles by moving current pitch and yaw toward their targets with an exponent. LDK frame rate independent or critically damp PD update to avoid overshoot when a target crosses the center line. If you want smarter selection, you can track the minimum screen distance among all candidates rather than taking the first in radius, or add tiebreakers like visibility state or distance bands, none of which requires touching the core rotation math. Performance-wise, the hot path is light 1 projection per candidate, a couple of square roots and an atten 2 for the chosen target, 1 LookAt call, 1 quaternion build. And because acquisition work and rotation work are split, you can instrument each in isolation, for example. Draw a temporary FOV ring for tuning, log target pitch and current pitch to verify clamping and conversion, or drop a short event when a log begins and ends to diagnose chattering. Failure modes present predictably. A negative depth means the target is behind the camera and should be ignored. A bad viewpoint offset yields no vertical motion or unexpected roll, so you recheck the L2 CPP layout. Animation fighting your pitch means you either hook too early in the update order, or you should blend with the existing value rather than overwriting it. The chosen design keeps the state surface tiny, just a point and a flag, and confines all word writes to the player hook after original logic has executed, which reduces risk and makes debugging straightforward. Everything else is just geometry, compute a world direction by subtracting positions, convert that into a vertical angle with atan2 and a horizontal alignment with LookAt, clamp for safety, apply pitch to the camera through a quaternion, and reset for the next frame. That's why it feels like a native aim assist rather than a teleport. The body turns the way a character should, the view tilts the way a camera should, the selection is anchored to what the player sees at the center of the screen, and the entire loop runs locally on device using Unity's own math and transforms resolved by offsets, with no external tooling, no input spoofing, and no reliance on frame-perfect timing beyond basic sanity checks. Here's the result in action. The aimbot runs entirely on device and quietly takes over only when a target drifts into a small FOV zone around center. From that moment, yaw on the body and pitch on the camera are realigned to center mass, no teleport, no stutter, just a quick acquisition, and a natural, steady follow that respects clamps and never over-rotates. When the target slips out of that zone or breaks line of sight, the assist cleanly lets go and you're back to raw input. All of this is recalculated every frame from world positions and depth, so corrections scale with on-screen size and stay smooth at any distance. No scripts pressing buttons, no remote PC, just geometry driving rotation through Unity transforms in real time.